Welcome back to another episode of Around Town. I am your host, Sarah Olson, and today joining me is Elizabeth Panduro of Woolsey Morcom, Attorneys at Law. Welcome.
Thank you.
Your office is in Nocatee.
It is.
And you live in Nocatee.
I do.
Wonderful. Well, tell us about your law firm and your specialty.
Sure. I'm a litigation attorney at Woolsey Morcom. Woolsey Morcom is a local firm, and we handle personal injury, commercial litigation, which is like business disputes, contract disputes, family law, and criminal defense.
Okay.
And we like to say we're built different. Our attorneys don't have a high caseload. We don't settle cases just to settle. And we live by that every case defines our reputation, because it does.
Okay, so more of a one-on-one type of, would you consider yourself a boutique firm in that retrospect?
Yeah, I would in that retrospect. It's very, white glove service.
Okay, wonderful. And of all the wonderful things that you guys do, what is your specialty there? What is the one thing that you're like have a passion for?
So I get involved in complex litigation cases.
Okay.
So that's commercial litigation, and it crosses over into personal injury.
Okay.
The factually and legally intense cases.
Okay. So describe to us what type of commercial litigation is most common, perhaps.
So with the influx of residents, we're seeing a lot of non-disclosure disputes in residential real estate contracts. People will sell their house, not disclose a defect that they knew about, and then someone moves in and discovers it, and they're, out hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And you're probably seeing a lot of that now. Let's say like COVID, that probably happened. Everybody's like, here, take my money. And the sellers are like, yes, give me your money.
Right.
And then they skip town.
Yes.
Maybe not have been so
forthcoming.
Right. And then it takes time to find those things out. So
some people don't discover it right away, and some people see it right away. So it really depends.
And what's the process, I'm just curious, of tracking down said seller that has moved to said other state?
Usually the contract will provide an address, or Google and hunting them down.
Well, that's true. At the title, they got to send the check somewhere.
Exactly. Yes.
And so personal injury as well. What are you seeing as most maybe a common thing in personal injury?
There's a lot of car accidents with increased traffic and the construction, even with construction, workers getting injured by negligence of, the site, things of that nature.
Yeah. Texting and driving is awful.
It is awful.
We were talking a little bit off camera. We had the Ironman come through here in Jacksonville, St. Johns County. And you were wonderful, because you're like, I knew it was coming.
Right. I planned for it.
You planned for it. You planned for it. But there actually was some injuries and bikers gotten hitting.
Cars.
Yes.
Yeah. The cars not obeying the traffic, detours that they had set up. It's very sad.
I'm just curious, going off, shiny object here, but for a personal injury case that happens for automobile, is there a common like start to finish as far as the process goes of filing suit and all of it?
Yeah, we typically tell people it can take up to, or even more than 2 years sometimes. You really want to establish the treatment in the beginning. Injuries don't always appear right away. It takes a while to learn exactly what it is, what the treatment's going to need to be, if you have surgery, how that went, things like that. So it's not a quick, file a lawsuit and you're done. It takes some time. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
So you're really working for the plaintiff in both these cases.
Correct.
Both these cases. You came to Nocatee from
Kentucky. Yes.
Kentucky. Bourbon drinker?
I do not like bourbon.
No, me neither.
But
I know.
I enjoy it. It's pretty in the barrel, but I don't really like the way it tastes.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah. And now you came to the area, and then you went back.
I did. We came to the area in 2016.
Okay.
The end of 2019, 2020, we briefly went back to Louisville.
Okay.
Spent my first winter there.
Okay.
And said, oh my goodness, I forgot this is what it's like.
This is awful.
At that time, my son was little. And so we spent most of the winter in the basement. And I decided I do not want to raise a kid down here. I want to be outside in the sunshine.
Yeah. It doesn't get long when you live here that your skin gets thin and you just can't take the cold anymore.
Right, yeah.
It's 60 degrees and we're bundled up in hoodies,
jackets, everything.
Yeah. So you still love in the Nocatee, and your kids are real active.
I do. My son's 7, and so we are outside all the time. You know, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
No, it's perfect. You know, there's trails, there's parks. It's just there's kids everywhere. It's a great place.
Do you do anything for fun outside of working and family time, or is that?
Yes. Well, my family is my fun.
You're
time.
Fun, right?
Yeah, we have one son. I love going to watch him play his sports. You know, I do personally like some quiet time reading books. I like going for runs or walks. But really, that's what my time's comprised of. I'm having fun.
Young mom, young working mom. What else do you want to share with us about your law firm, where you are located?
Right. We have an office in Ponte Vedra and Nocatee.
Okay,
and then we also have an office right downtown in Jacksonville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And a lot of our attorneys are, you know, local residents. They have kids that are in the same sports as our clients. You know, you see them at the grocery store. They're involved in the local nonprofit. So, I mean, we live and work here.
Yeah. As far as a tip goes, somebody feels like they've done wrong, got injured. What is the first thing that they should do?
Call us.
Call you.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's simple enough.
Yeah. Free consultations on personal injury cases. Okay. We have a wonderful intake team. You speak with an attorney. You know, you're not handed off to intake coordinators or paralegals right away. You can get a consult with an attorney.
Okay. And as far as, I don't want to say put you on the spot with legal fees and so forth, but how does that work? Is there a retainer that is?
It just depends.
It depends on the situation.
Most personal injury cases are on contingency.
Okay.
And then, you know, billable matters, usually those are like the contract disputes, stuff like that. Those are billed hourly and require a retainer. But if you call us, we can figure it out and we'll let you know based on what kind of case it is.
And one more thing I want to ask you. You started in probate in the States.
Yes. I started in probate and estate planning.
And estate planning. And you moved over to this because
to litigation. Yeah. So I loved meeting with people and helping them plan, but it was a little repetitive, and I got my first taste of litigation in a probate dispute, and I loved it. I loved the fact intensive, you know, with the research and the writing, and so I kind of transitioned to litigation.
Yeah. And every case is a little bit different.
It is. Yeah,
that's
it's like
great.
A
and the
mystery.
People are all different. Yes, I know. It works for our brains that are ever so moving.
Yes.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for
Where
having
can people
me.
find you?
They can call 1-800-WOOLSEY. So that's 1-800-WOOLSEY or WoolseyMorcom.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And if that didn't stick right away, you can find her also on HGTV, jax.com. Thanks for watching, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.